The 181st Infantry Regiment was born from the state's young National Guard tradition, a force shaped by frontiersmen, ranchers, townsfolk, teachers, and tradesmen who believed deeply in duty and community. When war came to the world, the men of Oklahoma would be called far from home, to North Africa, to the mountains of Italy, and onto the killing fields of Europe. Foundations, territorial roots to modern regiment. The origins of the 180 Infantry Regiment trace to the early 20th century Oklahoma National Guard. Units of this force served on home front missions along the Mexican border during instability in the 1910s and eventually formed part of the 45th Infantry Division, a division that would one day be known simply as the Thunderbirds. During World War I, predecessor units served as part of the 36th Division, gaining combat experience in Europe. After the war, the Guard reorganized, strengthened by veterans returning with hard-earned lessons from the trenches of France. Their knowledge, discipline, and spirit formed the backbone of the future 181st Infantry Regiment. By the 1920s and 30s, the regiment had taken shape as a core component of the 45th Division. These were years of training, rifle ranges, community parades, and preparation for a war few believed would come, but for which the regiment trained all the same. On the eve of World War II, the 181st Infantry Regiment was federalized as part of the massive mobilization of the U.S. Army. In 1940, the Thunderbirds left civilian life behind and began rigorous training across the United States, Louisiana maneuvers, desert warfare exercises, amphibious practice, and combined arms tactics. The 181st learned to move as a modern fighting regiment, using new weapons, coordinating closely with tanks, artillery, engineers, and aircraft. For many men, this was their first time leaving Oklahoma. For nearly all of them, it would be the last time they lived as civilians for years. By 1943, the regiment was ordered overseas. The training was over. The time for action had come. In July 1943, the 181st Infantry Regiment landed on the beaches of Sicily during Operation Husky. It was their baptism by fire, intense heat, rugged hills, and determined German resistance. The 180th fought in town-to-town battles, sharp mountain engagements, and relentless advances across the island. Their success in Sicily earned them their first major combat laurels and hardened them for what lay ahead. Soon after came Italy, a hellish campaign of mud, rain, mountains, and fortified German lines. The 181st fought through Salerno, Naples, and the Volturno region, pushing toward the formidable winter line. They engaged in brutal hand-to-hand combat, river crossings under fire, and grinding infantry assaults up steep enemy-held slopes. The regiment gained a reputation for stubborn tenacity. The Thunderbirds did not break. Anzio remains one of the most desperate battles of World War II for American infantry, and the 181st Infantry Regiment was at its center. Landing in January 1944, the regiment held positions against fierce German counterattacks that threatened to break the beachhead and drive Allied forces into the sea. Artillery barrages thundered day and night. Patrols fought viciously in trenches, vineyards, and ruined farmhouses. Casualties mounted, but discipline held. For months, the 181st endured the grim, stagnant struggle at Anzio, hunger, exhaustion, and constant danger. Their resilience under fire became one of the defining moments of the regiment's history. When the breakout finally came in May 1944, the 181st surged forward, helping liberate Rome soon after. After Italy, the regiment participated in Operation Dragoon, the invasion of southern France in August 1944. They advanced rapidly up the Rhone Valley, liberating towns and cutting off retreating German forces. From there, the 181st moved into the Vosges Mountains, fighting in thick forests, bitter cold, and fortified positions. Winter brought some of the war's most grueling battles: house-to-house attacks, night patrols through snow, and stubborn German defenses along the Maginot Line. Crossing into Germany in early 1945, the regiment pressed toward the Rhine. They helped liberate concentration camps and encountered the full horror of Nazi brutality. With heavy hearts, the men carried on, pushing deeper into Bavaria until Germany's collapse in May 1945. By the end of the war, The 181st Infantry Regiment had earned multiple campaign streamers and forged a combat record among the finest in the U.S. Army. After World War II, the 181st was inactivated, then reactivated within the Oklahoma National Guard as part of the 45th Infantry Division. When the Korean War erupted, the Thunderbirds were mobilized again. The 181st Infantry Regiment served with distinction in Korea, fighting in rugged terrain, harsh winters, and battles for strategic hills and ridgelines. Their discipline and combat experience from World War II shaped their success on this new battlefield. Following Korea, the Army reorganized under the Potomac and later road systems, transforming the regiment into battalions under the wider regimental lineage. Over the decades, elements of the 181st continued to serve in federal and state missions, disaster relief, and national emergencies. The story of the 181st Infantry Regiment is inseparable from the story of Oklahoma. Citizens who put aside ordinary lives to serve far from home in some of the most demanding campaigns in modern military history. Sicily, Salerno, Anzio, southern France, Germany, Korea. In each of these places, the 181st fought with courage, determination, and humility. Today, the regiment's lineage lives on in the Oklahoma Army National Guard, passed down through ceremonies, traditions, and the shared memory of those who wore the Thunderbird patch into battle. The legacy of the 181st is not merely one of war. It is a legacy of service, sacrifice, and the enduring strength of citizen soldiers who answered every call. As the documentary closes, the camera returns to the plains of Oklahoma. The wind rustles through fields just as it did when the regiment first mustered generations ago. The 181st Infantry Regiment's journey from stateside militia to global battlefields stands as a testament to the American infantrymen. Their courage shaped history. Their legacy endures.